Under the Scope.
Hey folks, welcome back to Under the Scope. 2 movies in 2 days. This time, I've got Earl sitting in the hot seat with me. He's got his shirt on, and that might be an indicator of what we just saw in the theaters in 3D, digital sound, quality picture, packed house. We saw Mad Max Fury Road.
Road Fury.
Road Fury. What? Better than Furry Road, all right?
Oh!
This is the return of Mad Max to the cinemas with original...
1986.
86, wow. That's when Thunderdome was...
Yeah, 86 or 87, but yeah, 80, yeah.
George Miller is back. He's at the helm, writer, director.
All sorts of stuff.
He's the guy.
And he has not mellowed with age.
He has not. This time in the role of Mad Max, we have Tom Hardy.
And Tom Hardy, I would say, has a Mad Max residence guy here. He took it and ran with it. He made it a little more crazy than Mel Gibson did.
That's the Tom Hardy way.
Tom Hardy way.
Even when Tom Hardy drives from one city to another in England, he still has a little crazy in him. So.
Yeah. So, but I mean, yeah, he carried the torch pretty good. No, I'm not gonna say that because that could be a spoiler.
Anyway, so
yes.
Mad Max Fury Road. After seeing this, I really want Marvel to take him up on his offer to play Frank Castle, the Punisher. Now,
yeah.
Just do it. Please, that would be so great.
I don't know, he'd be a good Spider-Man. No, I'm kidding.
No.
So anyway, back to Mad Max.
Mad Max Fury Road.
Fury.
Who else do we got in this film? We got
Fury.
Charlize Theron.
Yep.
We've got Nicholas Hoult.
Yep. And I cannot
Some
think
other
of
people.
The toe cutter, I cannot think of the actor's name, but the actor who played the toe cutter in the very first Mad Max, he comes back as the main villain, Immortal Joe.
I think it's Immortan Joe. I don't know what the difference... the names are madness in this film, and that's sort
of... he has not lost a touch for coming up with these awesome names. From toe cutter in the first film to...
Everyone has a title or some crazy name. You don't really hear it in the film, but if you watch the credits at the end...
Yeah, the credits are fun to read.
You get all kinds
Plus
of
the 10
madness.
miles of stuntmen.
So anyway, what's this film about? You're the Madman Madman. You're the Mad Max. I got Madman finale on the brain. You got the Mad Max expertise in that.
Yeah, I'm gonna say.
Tell me what this film's about.
Well, this movie is basically about Mad Max. They kind of went more with the Road Warrior vibe, where he's just kind of just wandering the wasteland. He's not getting in with the bad guys, not getting in with the good guys. He just wants to just go out and be his own guy.
He just wants to live, man.
He just wants to live. And he just wants to be left alone. And he gets roped up into this weird kingdom.
The Citadel.
The Citadel, thank you. Where they kind of let water out every now and then, and they had it up. Anyways,
as is the way with most future wasteland dystopian type things, is there's usually some sort of warlord or some person in power who's managed to figure out a way to control the resources that the people need, and therefore establish control, subvert the people. Inevitably, that's probably going to get turned over by the end of the film.
On the bright side, Mad Max is not in a pig manure place like in Thunderdome.
Right.
Anyways,
so we seem to have the Citadel, which is, we don't know what their specialty is, but we've also got later on we get Gastown that's established. Apparently, they're going to make a run to Gastown to get fuel.
Yep.
And then there's what they call the Bullet Farmer. Mm-hmm. Where they farm bullets, I guess.
Yeah, he was nuts.
I'm assuming that's where everyone's ammunition comes from. So,
but take it away. Charlene, she decides she's going to get out of there. She's going to head back to home because she was.
Well, she's sent on a mission. She's Imperator Furiosa, and she is supposed to make a gas run to Gastown.
But she brings something special.
She's got other plans.
She has other plans. We'll leave it at that.
And our chase begins because most of this movie is
in the beginning,
chase.
Max gets captured. And they kind of tie him up to a car, and he goes along for the ride whether he likes it or not. But he breaks free, and then it's like Road Fury. Now, the one thing to say about this film...
on Fury Road.
The one thing about this film...
Yeah.
It does not stop.
Well, it does pause briefly, but it's
very briefly. Like even you miss it.
For the most part, it's relentless in a good way. Not relentless in a bad way.
Very good.
It's just... Even if like, the truck breaks down or they need to stop for some reason...
it's still going.
They'll point in the background, and you'll see the trucks, the war party cruising in on them. They're minutes away, and so you're like, you never really lose that tension that they could be caught at any moment.
And and it never wears on you either. I have to say one thing, just taking a side note before I forget.
Yeah.
This film was very beautiful to watch. The desertscapes, the colors, how they just use it. And if you see it in 3D if you can see it in 3D.
The 3D is really good, and I'm not a fan of 3D, but the 3D... They do a really good job of
Depth.
foreground background relationship, giving you a lot of depth, setting isolation when they need it.
It's amazing.
Really,
what they
really
do
well
with the
done.
3D.
And there are a few gimmicky things where things fly at the screen, but they're at the right time.
They're at the right time.
time.
One of my favorite characters was the guitar guy.
Yes, there's obviously there's just a ton of crazy vehicles.
Yes.
Cars have been cobbled together. There's monster trucks. There's motorcycles. There's a freaking Cirque du Soleil troupe on their poles hanging all over the place. But there is one truck where they've got a guitar player and they've got drummers in the back hitting drums. And they got a big old just a
giant
wall of guitar
amps.
speakers behind this guy, and this guy has to shred the entire time.
And he's on this elastic thing, so he's bouncing all over the place.
It's great.
And it actually plays into the soundtrack, which is beautifully done.
Right. It could so easily be really... okay, it is a little silly, but guess what? This whole film is so freaking crazy that it works.
Yeah,
so
you'd be like, why didn't they have that in there?
This film is insane. If you're looking for... just check your reality expectations at the door, because this is just a madhouse.
You have to remember, here's one thing I'm going to tell you.
Tell me.
It's a Mad Max Road Warrior. This film has definitely evolved.
Okay.
If you watch Mad Max and you watch Road Warrior, that's all you need. I mean, Thunderdome is okay.
We don't need another hero.
We don't need another. Yeah, Thunderdome was half directed by George Miller, but
who did the other half?
I cannot think of his name. Probably
was Mel Gibson asserting his ego at that point?
No, he was
Alan Smithy.
He was getting popular.
He gets around.
So that's why he had the long flowing hair. But anyway, we're not here to talk about Thunderdome. We're going to talk about Road Fury Road, Mad Max 4. Anyway, the auto combat is absolutely ahead of anything you will possibly imagine. Mm-hmm. They thought of every possible way to fight with cars. It's not cars just bouncing into each other.
No.
There is absolute strategy.
What was the name they had so they had the drivers and they had the guys who were throwing the javelins.
Yeah, they had
was that a name for them? I forget what it was.
I didn't quite.
It was
cool.
I won't
lie. I had trouble. Yeah, they had the guys flipping on poles. I mean,
so
they had one where they would shoot spears into the back of a truck, and then the cars would drop a plow to start dragging it down.
There's so many ingenious forms of weaponry that they came up with.
And it's just it's beyond anything I ever saw. I mean, Road Warrior was good because they had them fighting, but I mean, let's break it down. As cool as the end of Road Warrior is, it is still cars just shooting at each other. This is
madness. This is madness.
Car combat war. I want to say combat.
It's like
trying to make combat.
It's like Twisted Metal.
But even
the video game, if you remember that, kids.
There's strategy.
Ask your parents about Twisted Metal.
Yeah. There's just a bizarre strategy to this film. You can tell George Miller and who he's worked with, they've evolved. They're in their own little world, and we got to catch up to them.
And not only is there just every manner of vehicle combat thought of, but each little faction has their own style, style of weaponry, style of vehicle, style of appearance.
Yeah, motorcycle guy. I mean, they all.
Yeah, there's the motorcycle guys. There's the initial group that they encounter that all their vehicles had spikes on them.
Oh God, those spike guys! They were like the Tuscan Raiders.
And they all have their own little ways of fighting, which is just so much detail went into creating the world.
It's insane how much detail. I mean, that's what blew me away by this. I thought it was just going to be cars bouncing into each other.
You just imagine how much pre-production work goes into just establishing the world that this chase happens in. I mean,
they create a world and they create it consistently. Right. They don't ever step their bounds, but they also don't back down.
And they don't spend too much time trying to explain it because they understand that we're not necessarily there. It's not an anthropology lesson. It is we're going to give you enough to establish this crazy wasteland world that these people live in.
Yes. And
they're off. Let's go.
And then what's nice, the other thing is, and I hope I don't get too political on here, but
disclaimer.
Everybody's always like, why don't we have a Black Widow film? Where's the Wonder Woman? If you want chicks kicking ass, see this movie.
There are...
Charlene almost basically steals the film from Mad Max.
Right.
Mad Max kind of, at the end, he just remember, it's my movie at the end. But
she's very good.
She's badass.
I'm going to talk around these characters without giving away too much, but there are other women in the film who initially are set up as maybe the victims, but in the end, they show their own.
Oh my God.
They can very much take care of action. Oh, and then there's the other group of women we meet later on who are just like the best marksmen we've ever seen. So,
and that's great because that's what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so don't mess with old Australian ladies and don't mess with hot Australian ladies in chastity belts.
Plenty of women taking care of business in this one. So
yeah, this is...
good job.
I freaking Love this film. This is what, what it does is it gives you what you always wanted, and then it like says, it takes you beyond what you could have ever imagined.
You're a Mad Max fan, so I
Yes,
kind
I
of
am.
figured you would like this almost regardless. What would you say to the person who is new to the world, or maybe is just a casual person who maybe just
God,
knows
that's
a
a
little
good
bit about it?
question.
How are they going to take this film?
If they just see this film alone, they might have some trouble. There were actually a couple of confusing things to me. Can I mention flashback?
Sure. I mean, it happens right at the beginning.
Mad Max has, he keeps having this vision of a little girl. If they said who it was, I didn't catch it. And Mad Max had a wife and a baby.
Yeah.
And I think the baby was a boy. So I have no idea who this little girl is that Max keeps flashing back to.
I don't think you will have had to see any of the previous films to enjoy this one fully.
Did you really were you able to get into it with just a...
Oh, fine. Yeah, it was great. I mean, I've seen Mad Max once. I've seen Thunderdome once. I've seen Road Warrior a couple times. So, but I'm certainly not an expert on that world, and I'm like, whatever.
Yeah,
I don't need the background to enjoy this
incredible
feat of cinematography and stunt work. It's
just a beautiful looking film. I mean,
amazing.
That first car, when they bust out of there,
yeah.
I mean, it's not just like, whoops, I fell down. I mean, the bodies artistically, but not overly, get blown away or fly away or crushed under wheels.
Let me get a little more specific on my question.
Yes, sir.
Is the average moviegoer going to be able to kind of just buy into this world and enjoy it? Okay. Is this like a futurescape version of the Fast and the Furious films?
Man, that's a good question. Definitely, it's much faster and much furious than any of the Fast and Furious films. They could actually learn.
I hear Furious 7 is pretty outstanding too.
Not bad.
I haven't seen it.
The car chases are fine in between.
Okay,
but that's another review.
Okay.
But I think so. Honestly, I don't know because I think I'm so far into it that it's hard for me to look back and go. But I think what you said assured me that if people give it a good chance, they'll go see it.
You got to give it a good chance. I feel like if anything is going to knock this film down a little bit, it's in how insane some of the stuff is. And if you're not the type of person who's going to just accept...
If you hate fun.
You hate fun. If you're not the type of person who's willing to just accept some of the just bizarre production design choices and costuming and character designs, I don't know that I can help you.
Yeah,
this isn't a film for you then.
Yeah, if you're the type of person that's
it's not a Merchant Ivory film.
If you're going to watch a Road Warrior film, and then like halfway to the end of the Road Warrior, you're like, well, you can't turn a car wheel like that. Don't see it, because everybody hates you, and you're just going to annoy them.
If ever the suspension of disbelief was in play, it's in this one.
But at the same time, it still sticks to its own rules.
Right. It has its internal logic that works.
And it sticks to it. It doesn't, like, try to make you...
And it doesn't try to do too much.
And it doesn't try to treat you like an idiot.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's probably enough jibber-jabber. Let's give this thing a scope score.
All right, here we go.
You're the worst at giving me a pause. Time for the scope score.
The scope score is 4 stars.
Folks, 4 stars. That is what we gave it. It's amazing. This is... I mean, hey, it's maybe not a 4-star movie for everyone, but I think for us it was fantastic. I wasn't really bored ever.
I haven't had this much fun since Guardians of the Galaxy.
Ooh, there you go. Big endorsement.
I mean, I did enjoy Avengers 2.
Yeah.
But it was, it was a Marvel film, so I was like, okay. But Mad Max was like, bam, something new, something fresh. Yeah, everything old is new again, but...
Did you happen to catch the rating?
Huh?
Was this PG-13?
I'm pretty sure it's R.
Is it R? Okay.
A lot of people got crushed under their wheels.
Yeah, but we seem to have, we seem to be okay with violence in this country. There wasn't a lot of blood or gore or anything like that. There was a lot of death.
Yep. And you know what was funny?
Not much language, really.
No.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, they kept the true tradition of keeping Mad Max.
There's not a lot of talking, honestly.
Yeah,
there's not a lot of talking.
Yeah, just to keep you up going. Every now and then you'll get an extra go, that's our gas, as they drive off into that.
That's our gas. Anyway, thanks for tuning into Under the Scope. I am Jared. That is Earl. Maybe Shane will be back at some point. I don't know. He's a busy, busy man. If you like what we do here, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe below. You can follow our exploits at thescopeshow.com. We do regular podcasts. Maybe we'll do one again soon. Anyway, thanks for watching.
Go see Mad Max.
We'll see you soon.
Ladies and gentlemen, we find ourselves once again at the end. I hope you've enjoyed our time together. I know I have. Fear not, Scope faithful, days shall pass as if they were but a moment, and Jared, Adam, and Shane will return with another thrilling episode. Until then, send your comments to comments@thescopeshow.com or leave a voicemail message by dialing
612-21-SCOPE. That's 612-217-2673.
Thanks for listening, faithful fans. This is Tony Partington saying arrivederci. Tune in next time to another terrific edition of The Scope.